speaking of people who don't maintain an attachment to reality, it's Ben Shapiro again, who is very, very mad, very, very mad about a Disney movie. Because of course he has to be. It has to be part of the churn. We need the content. We need to go after Disney because I said I was angry at Disney before, and now the wokes are just on some bullshit again. These gosh dang wokes. Let's see what the wokes did.
So you've already started to see the press rollout for Disney's Strange World, right? That's going to come out next week just in advance of Thanksgiving. Presumably it'll do big box office because parents won't know what to do with their kids over the Thanksgiving Day weekend. So here is your warning. If you're a parent and you do not wish your kids to see a gay teen romance, don't take your kids to see
gay Disney, gay Disney, gay Disney, gay Disney.
Your choice, your kids. I'm just giving you the heads up.
Are they going to actually
Disney
be gay?
has said that they have a not at all secret gay agenda. They said this publicly, openly, in giant meetings.
The gay agenda, which, by the way, it's totally secular. This doesn't come from his religion at all. Media involving people of different sexualities can only be wrong if you think heteronormativity is the correct and true way. You can't get there secularly. You cannot get there without religion. It's impossible. Religion poisons your fucking brain.
The heads of Disney talked about their trans kid and their non-gender binary kids and how everybody, your kids, need to be educated in the ways of this sort of subjective, individualist sexual culture. It's very important that your kids be indoctrinated.
It's sexual. What is sexual about teen romance? In a Disney movie? Is Lady and the Tramp sexual, dude? I'd say Lady and the Tramp is more explicitly sexual than most Disney romances because they're dogs. While sexuality is what we call it, we could just call it attraction if you're worried about it. I didn't miss a pause face. I just chose not to engage in more Ben Shapiro pause face. You did it, though. Yeah, you got it. When she dry as the Mojave. Yeah, that's true.
Into this. Well, we already had Lightyear, which was a dramatic fail at the
I didn't see Lightyear. Should I?
Box office, featuring a lesbian couple.
Spoilers.
Targeted at 5, 6, 7-year-old kids.
Spoilers.
And now Strange World, which is targeted at 5, 6, 7-year-old kids, features a gay teen romance. Isn't this exciting stuff? Because this is what America is truly the value that I think stands for all of us is gay teen romance for small children. The New York Daily News reported this all the way back in June.
I'm going to be honest, this makes me want to watch this movie.
Quote, Disney's upcoming adventure film Strange World will feature a gay teen romance, the first in an animated feature produced by Walt Disney Animation Studios. Again, the idea here is that Walt Disney has to please its animation employees. This isn't about pleasing the audiences. Where was the broad parental demand for a gay teen romance for kids?
Parental demand? I think a lot, actually. I think especially millennial parents would be like, oh yeah, this is a good way that I can normalize lack of bigotry in my fucking kid if they're even thinking about that. And it's probably a liberal. Do you want to know what I'm thinking of if I see this? Cute movie. Let's go see a cute movie. I don't fucking.
Was that something?
It's a cartoon, dude. Cool. If it has good messaging, that's dope. But if it's just a cartoon and doesn't have any messaging, that's fine too. I'll say this: most of the media that our generation is making now, the 30-somethings that are finally in control of media and the 20-somethings that are coming into it, we're making good art, dude. We're saying stuff now. It's been really good. You guys see Last Night in Soho? That's not necessarily ours, but it's been informed by us. And it definitely is from the perspective of us. I showed Sarah this movie not too long ago. It's one of my favorites. It's really good. It's really, really good. You should all watch it. The critical analysis of it is this. It is absolutely a great way to capture women's experiences.
Thing that parents were clamoring for. Oh man, I definitely need to show my 7-year-old two teenage boys wanting to mack on each other. That's definitely, I think, something that 5-year-olds need. Like, who's that crowd precisely? Where was the market demanding this sort of stuff? The film which is scheduled to open
Hell yeah, Mr. Whiskers.
next week,
Welcome.
will follow 3 generations of a family of explorers and take viewers to a place of infinite mystery, unlike anything you've ever seen. Well, that's a weird promise. Several Hollywood powerhouses have been confirmed as part of the voice cast, including Jake Gyllenhaal, Gabrielle Union, Lucy Liu, Dennis Quaid, and Jabuki Young White. One of the sequences that Disney filmed months ago shows Ethan, who's a 16-year-old, flirting with a boy named Diazzo in front of his friends.
Oh, wow. Flirting with a boy. Boys can't get flirted with. Forrest Espion, thanks for the 500 biddies, dude. During the 2008 California same-sex marriage vote, our weekly mandatory chapel service was pastor told us college students, quote, if you do not vote against gay marriage, there's a strong chance you will be in hell. Why? Because you helped people commit sin. This is how Walsh and Shapiro feel. If I don't stop non-believers from sinners, God will punish me forever. Your thoughts, Jake? I think that is awful, obviously. Yeah, I mean, religion flavors your shit. Like, there's societal pressure. Just your friends. It might not even be your fucking religion actually saying it, like, at the pulpit, although, like, obviously it is in the books. But it'll be your the people you go to lunch with, your friends, your peers. It makes you feel weird to try to advocate for things. It forces people into certain social roles, and then you turn into little fucking monsters. Bo Jose, thanks for the 200 biddies. There's a character in the new Quantum Leap, and the first time they them pronouns were used for that person, my kid was so happy. Love that shit. So yes, parental demand for that. Oh, is your kid non-binary or just uses they them? That's great. Or if just was excited in general. Yeah, I mean, I think these types of movies are sought after by especially left-leaning parents
who tease him in a friendly way. His father, Searcher Clade, who is Jake Gyllenhaal, later joins in and embarrasses him in an overeager show of acceptance. It's beautiful, guys. Emmy Award-winning producer Matthew Shigeshi.
An overeager? Is he going to bring it up?
Who saw the sequence, wrote on Twitter the scene is very endearing and it's treated as the most natural thing in the world.
Yes.
The scene describes the son being very shy in front of his boy crush. And his dad comes in and says, so nice to meet you. My son talks about you all the time, and further embarrasses his son. Very cute.
That is
very cute indeed.
That is cute. I actually don't know what's not cute about that. The only difference is the sex of the cartoon character. The implied sex of the cartoon character. Actually, the implied gender of the cartoon character.
If this is the sort of stuff that you wish to teach to your kids, which is the idea that all sexual relationships are of the same.
Is the Democratic Zoomers Republic of America around the corner, Jake? No. We need one more generation. It'll be that next one. Whatever what's after the Zoomers? Do we know what the name is yet? I think Ben got an embarrassing boner watching Jake Gyllenhaal in Brokeback Mountain. I actually thought Brokeback Mountain was one of the saddest fucking movies when it came out. I don't know if it still holds up. Gen Alpha. It's just they're just starting back over. Lame.
Same moral stature, that all human relationships are equivalent in every available way.
Why call them alphas, dude? I can't believe that we decided to call them alphas.
And that sexuality is entirely biological, except when it's not biological at all and is fluid. So if you wish to teach
it's a cartoon,
your kids that, by all
bro.
means, take them to see Strange World. And if maybe you don't want to indoctrinate your kids in this crap, perhaps you should stop giving your money to Disney Plus. One of the reasons that we here at DW Plus have decided to dedicate $100 million to children's programming over the next couple of years is because we would like to provide a safe space for our kids. I got to tell you, it is very difficult being a parent these days and trying to keep your kids learning about traditional values. And
learning about traditional values. This is indoctrination, dude. I know he says it the other way. It's not indoctrination to have on offer cartoons that involve same-sex stuff or gay stuff or gender stuff or whatever. They may watch it and not even understand that that's what it's talking about. If you just shut the fuck up, people would stop talking about this. Like, can you imagine if they just left trans people alone? We wouldn't even talk about it. It wouldn't even have a subculture. Like, subcultures come out of necessity because you push them to the margins. I don't know why he doesn't understand this, or why, just in general, it's like, then have a libertarian view on the damn thing. Let people do whatever they want. You can also do whatever you want. Like, it's just so weird. I would never. I'm a leftist. I'm a. You know, we're big lefties. I am definitely the type of person that Ben Shapiro is scared of running shit. I can't imagine forcing any ideology on my kid. Like, I can't be like, oh, look at this trans stuff. Trans. Gay. It'd just be like stuff that would happen. And if they ask questions, we would answer questions. It would be passive. It wouldn't be, I have no interest in proselytizing to a child about anything. Now, maybe they'd catch one of these rants. But that would just be my own.
It is
my own bullshit, you know?
very difficult being a parent these days and trying to keep your kids learning about traditional values in a world that attempts to foist on them at literally every turn that traditional values are evil and terrible and bigoted.
No, they're not. Forcing other people to live that way is. You can live however you like, Ben. That's the difference. If you want to live a trad life, go for it. If you want to live the mad life, go for it. If you want to live the daddy life, DM me.
It's very difficult. When people give books to my kids, I have to read the books first before I screen the books for my kids. Now you can hear the hue and cry from the left as Media Matters clips this. Oh my gosh, he screens books. Yes, because I am a good parent. This is what good parents do.
If you want to screen your books, sure. I would have the confidence, Ben Shapiro, to be able to talk to my kids about complex things that they come across as they age. Because trying to keep them from this stuff is only going to emotionally stunt them when they meet their peers. Trying to mold your children to be little tiny yous is the best way to have them reject your values.
I wouldn't let my kids read horror books, and I wouldn't let my kids read books about the innate moral value of every sexual.
All right, okay. My dad was a conservative growing up. He didn't have like content moderation involved. My mom was more worried about that, but it was mostly nudity and like sexuality and stuff when I was a kid. I remember her covering my eyes when there was like boobies on the screen once. But my dad pushed heterosexuality a lot. I remember in the we had a pole barn. I grew up in the country, so you have your house. We had a garage that was attached to the house, and then we had like a bunch of woods around our house. I told you I grew up in the woods. And then nearby we had a pole barn, which is a place that you keep like your boat and your truck and your a bunch of your toys and stuff, four wheelers and shit. If you don't know, now you know. And in the pole barn there was a framed poster, and it was a naked lady holding up a poster. It didn't show nudity, if I recall correctly. Maybe it did. I can't remember at this point. Years and years ago. If it showed nudity, it doesn't matter. It's whatever. But it said, "Will work for sex." It was it's pretty clear that my dad came at it from a misogynist point of view. Like, oh, wouldn't a woman that wanted to fuck and work all the time be perfect? And it's like, hey, look, maybe you should just get yourself panda girl
relationship.
Yeah, you guys might be buffering. There was a buffer that happened. Let me see if there's, I don't know. Saw a buffer.
That's not something I want my kids believing, because I don't think it's true. I think it cuts against basic human institutions. I think it cuts against the future of their happiness. I think it cuts in favor of confusion and depression and suicidal ideation. I think that there are a lot of problems with the value system that we've been teaching our kids, as reflected by the increase in depression, suicidal ideation, and confusion in young Americans.
Why does he think that depression, suicidal ideation, and stuff like that is centered around kids' struggle with their own identity? Because it isn't. It is not kids struggling with their identity. If there is an identity issue, it is them not struggling with their identity, but struggling with other people dealing with their identity. It is social struggle against people like you, Ben Shapiro, for causing them to feel a certain way about themselves. The other thing would be economic pressure because capitalism sucks. And it forces families to undo like societal pressure because capitalism is dog water. My dad wanted to name me after a sex worker from the brothel he used to bounce at back in the day, so sex positivity started young in this house. That's good.
Teens and preteens. We'll get to more on this in just a second.
No, we won't.
I think you found a list. So it's never by purchasing / everything right now. That's why one of our goals here at Daily Wire Plus is we'll do the screening for you. We'll just make the content. And then you can trust, because we share your values, that we are not going to cram down all the values of the progressive left, the transgressive left on your kids. Disney has no such qualms. In fact, this is their goal. And they've openly stated this is not by accident. They're doing this because this is part of an agenda. If you choose to back that agenda, you're a parent, you can make that choice. But you should at least be informed of the agenda before you take your kids to see stuff like this. Meanwhile, as we say, this is the most important issue on the left right now. As always, the LGBTQ agenda on a social level. This is the quote-unquote new civil rights movement. This is something the left is always looking for, is the new civil rights movement. The civil rights movement was the high watermark of morality for the left. Correctly, because the civil rights movement was excellent. Okay.
Now he's pro-civil rights movement. Uh-oh, you lost John Doyle. Oh, fuck. The right is fracturing.
Okay, and then we extended the same rubric of civil rights to a bunch of things that are not the same as race. Sexuality is not the same as race.
Yes, it is. It's inherent to someone's, essence. Things that are inherent to you that you don't choose. And then after that, it's like, okay, now what do we get to choose? And the answer is fucking anything you want. So let's say this. How about this? Steelman, if sexuality and gender and all the things that Ben Shapiro are scared of were 100% conscious choices that people made, it would still be ethically fine. Nothing wrong with it. It's obviously not that, but if it was, you can't make a secular argument against somebody wanting to fuck somebody else or look like something or feel a way or be called whatever they want. You literally can't make a secular argument against it. It's just freedom of expression. All of it is freedom of expression. If you want to express in a certain way, you get to. The only time you don't get to is when it infringes on somebody else's right. And by the way, sucking dick, if you got a dick, doesn't infringe on anybody's rights. In fact, Godspeed. You're doing the Lord's work.
Sexual behavior is not the same as race. These things are not the same as race. We extended that rubric because, again, the left is constantly looking for what is our next civil rights battle so that we can be the moral heroes. And
no, we're not. I don't want to fight with you about trans rights. Are you kidding me? I want you to shut the fuck up so trans people can have a life. Just let trans people live their lives. I'll never bring it up again if you shut the fuck up. There you go, Sky Comet. Maybe someday you'll find somebody, another A-row, or not an A-row, another ace, but romantic.
It's cold.
Ace, but not A-row. You'll find somebody, Sky Comet. Somebody to be. You know what? I actually have two friends that are platonic life partners. I play D&D every Saturday. Thanks for the biddies, by the way.
For them right now,
so
it's gay marriage. So with the Democrats taking the Senate, they are now going to move ahead with a vote on a gay marriage bill. Now, what is the purpose of a gay marriage bill? There is no purpose to a gay marriage bill. Obergefell has already been ruled upon. And a simple gay marriage bill is not even a constitutional amendment. So it's not even above and beyond the Supreme Court ruling. The Supreme Court ruling is still the law. If the Supreme Court ruling were overturned, a quick majority in the Senate could quickly overturn this law. Okay, but The idea here is that you're going to get all the Republicans on record as to whether they support or do not support same-sex marriage. Now, let me just put this out there for the Republican senators. If you vote in favor of the idea that society has an obligation to recognize male-male or female-female dyads in the same way that society has an obligation to recognize male-female, you should not be in the Republican Party. You shouldn't. Okay, the reason I say this is not because I wish to shrink the size of the Republican Party.
My relationship is platonic. Realized I was 8 years in, and since telling friends have found that this isn't uncommon. Yeah, some people are platonic. Yeah, that's fine. I am not. I would have a hard time with that. Britannia, thanks for the follow. No pickles. Thanks for biddies as well. If we don't need to codify marriage equality because of the Supreme Court decision, explain Roe v. Wade. Exactly.
Because if the fundamental basis of human society is male-female child, and you think that by passing a law you can change that reality, you do not belong in government. This is a very simple proposition. Men and men are not the same as a man and a woman who are capable of becoming one flesh and producing a child.
One flesh. I wonder where that resides. Only in religion, dude.
This is not difficult stuff. Many Republicans will be tempted to vote for this simply to avoid the conflict, so that people don't yell at them. Oh my gosh, you're not respecting love is love. Now, first of all, the love is love argument was always bullcrap. The left doesn't even believe love is love. The left has its own restrictions on what it believes.
Sachiko Yume, we do have a pronoun bot if you want. I think it's pronouns. Oh, there you go. You did it. Yeah, we got a pronoun bot if you guys want to do that. In fact, I should refresh my thing so my pronoun bot is up. But yeah, it puts little pronoun tags before your name in here. So it looks like, wow. Looks like this. See here?
It's acceptable, at least for now. The left does not actually believe that all sexual relationships are perfectly equivalent. It would not presumably be
my non-religious views on this bill use religious phrases, but it's not as based on religion, of course. Yeah.
In favor of brother-brother marriage. They're not be in favor of father-daughter marriage, I would assume, for now. They're not in favor of adult-child marriage, for now. Okay, but they don't even believe that quote-unquote love is love. What they actually believe is that marriage should be redefined to mean whatever they believe it ought to mean.
No. You can look, Ben, feel free to come to the Cornville. Feel free to come to Cornville and have this conversation with me. Anybody that agrees with Ben Shapiro, but definitely, obviously, Ben. I mean, we take that in a second, but I don't want to redefine marriage for anything. I just want it to have access, any couple to have access to it. That's it. You're the one that wants to define this shit to involve specific parties. I have no interest in defining it so thinly. I am open to a broad interpretation of what marriage is.
And that they get to socially engineer society along the lines of their utopian visions.
My utopian vision? Bro, I don't have a utopian vision. I'm not gay. I just don't want people that are gay to be forced to have unions that they don't like just because Ben Shapiro thinks they should fuck or something.
In which individual sexual preference is the core of human identity.
It's a core of human identity. So is your gender, your identity in general? Like your fucking, I guess identity is the core of human identity. Of course it is, but you know, there's lots that go into the core of you. It's part of the alchemy that makes you who you are, sure. It's not the only thing we care about. It's just a thing that you seem to care a lot about, keeping people from expressing. And so I'm against it. And so while you're for it, I'm against it. So if you just shut the fuck up again, it won't come up. People will just live their lives and this will never be a thing. The only reason the gay community exists in the way that it does is because of pushback by conservatives and religious people like this. Like, be honest. If you were just out and about, like, there wouldn't even be need for community in that way. Because through solidarity is where you find, like, the reason we have pride flags and stuff is because you need to have pride. There needed to be solidarity in coalition within these groups to work politically towards equality. If they started with equality, it wouldn't be a thing.
Opposed to, actual biological reality in which the most important thing that human beings do is procreate, have babies, and then live inside those relationships, bring up those kids.
That's the most important thing we do. It can be the most important thing you do if that's what you place your importance on. Again, it's just you forcing other people to live a certain way. Nobody has to live that way. If you don't want to get married and have kids, you don't have to. If you want to get married and not have kids, you can do that. If you want to get married and have kids, that's dope too. If you want to have kids and not get married, that's dope too. I don't care. But if you're going to have an incentivized situation, you have to let everybody have access to it. Or you suck.
Now, the Republicans can pretend along with this in order to avoid controversy, but it just shows how gutless they are if they do. So what exactly will this bill do?
He's talking about the bill again. By the way, this is about the Disney movie. He's just talking about the bill twice. We don't have to talk about the bill again. We literally just did that with the other Ben Shapiro video. So if you haven't seen that already, if you're on YouTube, go to that one. Go to the other one. That one, Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh talk about gay marriage. We talk all about the bill over there. TLDR, it just allows your marriage to be respected in states that wouldn't otherwise respect it from a federal level. So they can't dissolve your union on you. That sounds good to me. States' rights, baby. States' rights.